Welcome, all you plus two comedy modifiers, back to Solving the Witness, a laid-back, for now, annotated Let's Play where we look at the deeper underlying meanings of Jonathan Blow's The Witness. Now, before we get to today's Let's Play, lots of big stuff happened in the last week's episode, and Pedro Paulo brought up a great comment. I found the box that has the gate puzzle photocopied in that box, and I made a big stink about the fact that it was photocopied. Why is it photocopied? What are the meanings behind that? Pedro says, I think the photocopy thing is to suggest that the player needs to copy that puzzle for later. Simple game mechanics. What is a great answer to that question? I have mulled over the idea of why a photocopier exists in this universe. And the simple this is a gameplay mechanic and it's telling the player copy this down because it's a copy machine is a great answer. So thank you so much, Pedro. I'm not going to put all my chips on that answer if we're playing Wits and Wagers, but I definitely think that is a great solution to why there are photocopies in this world. Pedro goes on to say that I have 664 subscribers, which is the total count of The Witness. Since then, it's gone up to 666, the actual number of puzzles, if you believe in the devil theory. By the time this comes out, it'll probably be different too, but I thought that was fun. Let's get to it! Alright, let's go back. To me, yeah, please, but this is meant to be a discussion. I like the passage about a new melody. To me, this is somehow the heart of the island. I also got that feeling. I almost said that out loud, that I was like, oh, this is the heart. But I was only thinking that because I've been playing Horizon Zero Dawn. I 100% thought this was going to lead back to the blue area of... which it still might, because I didn't go this way, of the inside of the mountain. I just want to pop in and explain what I was saying here about the blue area has a track in the mountain. When you go to that first secret area that has all the very difficult puzzles in it, there is an area with a bunch of blue puzzles, blue screens. And there was like a track area there. That is what I'm referencing there. The whole idea of what is going on here is very confusing. So I went and tried to discover if there was a map of the underground area. And I was able to find this map that was created by David's Canal. I believe I'm saying that correctly, that I found on Reddit. Very interesting. It should be noted there's a few weird things about the map. There is an area that actually looks like a heart. We have some discussion in the chat while I'm playing of the idea of where the heart of the island is, and it's the place, according to the chat, where I find the gate puzzle. If you look at the map, the area with the record player actually kind of looks like a heart, like a human heart, not like a Valentine's Day heart. So I thought that was a bit interesting. This also brought up the fact that the theater where you watch the videos is also a hexagon, which I had not realized before, which is pretty interesting. But as you can see, it's basically a straight line. You come from the mountain, you go through the cave until you unlock the very difficult trial area, or the challenge area, which we will get to. And through that you go through the record player area, then you make a weird turn, and then you walk up through the theater, find that briefcase, and then find the way back to the desert area. That turn is very interesting, because that is also where the beam from the desert area bends. So the desert area shoots a laser out, and it's the only laser that doesn't actually hit the mountain. There is a panel that you have to solve that rotates a mirror, and you can use that to rotate the mirror so that when the beam hits it, it hits the mountain. It also can be rotated in a way that it hits a cloud and turns it white and becomes an environmental puzzle. I just kind of thought that it's very interesting that for some reason, the path of the underground is mirroring
the path of the beam from the desert area, especially because it's the desert area. The desert area is probably the area of the map I think about the least. Like, I spend a lot of time thinking about, like, Symmetry Island and the tree house and the damn bamboo noise forest. I think about those areas all the time. The desert, for some reason, I just think is a mechanic that we don't interact with much after this, and that's the glare mechanic, where you use the sun to kind of put a, not shadow, but glare onto the panel, and that lets you see the correct way to solve the puzzle. That's such a weird mechanic that doesn't get used much else. Like, I don't think I've seen a puzzle that used that in, like, any of the challenge anywhere in the mountain. Like, it is one of the more forgotten mechanics. So the fact that we're kind of being reminded of this area at this time, I find a little bit suspicious. I don't know if I've also said this during the time when I was playing the desert area. It's weird that the desert area is clearly a desert. It's got like a zaggurat in the middle and, you know, sand everywhere. And you use the glare from the sun to solve things. Until you go inside, and then it's all about water, which is the thing that usually the desert is missing. I mean, I know we're on an island, but I just thought it was interesting that in the desert area, one of the big components of it is water. I hadn't thought about that in a while, so I thought I would bring that up here. So that's just what's interesting about this map. You know, the shapes of the rooms are things that I wanted to pay attention to. I kind of wanted to see if anything kind of looked like a heart with the proper number of, like, ventricles coming out, stuff like that. Not quite, but I thought this map was pretty helpful. Thank you, Davids.
Ooh, ooh, ooh. There's a mine cart. So I can jump in this and turn this into a Donkey Kong Country level.
Just popping in real quick, not a long one, but there was talk about what is the tracks here. Like, was it a train? Was it, you know, meant for transportation of people? This is clearly showing that the mine cart is used to transport materials of some sort. More on this later.
Anything under the stairs? No. Wait. Yes. There was something under the stairs.
The concept of a clock enfolds all succession in time. In the concept, the 6th hour is not earlier than the 7th or 8th, although the clock never strikes the hour, save when the concept biddeth. Nicholas of Cusa, 1450.
That's mine, you know.
Yeah. Well, I have some ideas about it, and I just wanted to give it a try. See how it goes?
Next thing I know, you'll be taking over all the Kuza pieces. What kind of idea?
I don't know. Subconscious drives, right? Like, with anything creative.
Did you feel this way before your trip to the island, or after?
Well, I think after. Yeah, mostly after. I had a seed of it before, even back when I first heard the piece, when you first picked it out. But I didn't really notice then. Now it's like the princess and the pea. I don't mean to be stepping on your toes, though. Really, the drive is personal. I wanted to record this one so I can hear it the way I want to hear it, just to set something right for myself.
Okay. I'm gonna file this under the category of good problems to have. Your attitude to the piece changed or clarified, I guess, maybe based on the trip. That means it's working. Something's working, right? Maybe. Back when we started, I would have counted us lucky to ever get this far.
But here we are.
Here we are. Record away. I will take my leave. Thanking you for this opportunity to introspect on my aversive feelings.
You're welcome.
Very, very, very interesting. So, that recording by Cruza, and I definitely had quotes from him before that I feel like had a female voice, and I feel like I mentioned that. So whoever recorded that was here on this island at some point, and being on the island affected them. And there is something about this particular quote that bothers them after having been on the island. Now, I was going to say, I don't think I heard this quote before. The male voice in this implies that there is more quotes from Cusa, which I remember talking about in a previous episode anyway. But I don't think it was this one. But it implies that the effects of the island caused her to have a different interpretation of this quote that she doesn't fully understand. It's almost subconsciously. But there's something about the island in this quote that she feels like is important. I don't know about you guys, but when she said clock, I immediately thought of the windmill. And I know I've said 100 times on this show about how there's no time, and since time is a construct, maybe the island is unaware of it. But the only thing that ticks like a clock, that makes is it even a clockwise rotation? I think it's a counterclockwise rotation, now that I think about it. Would be the windmill, but it's counterclockwise. What you just said reminds me of what JB said in a very long interview. Clockwise from inside. Yo, that is a really cool take. I really like that take. Because now I'm inside. Alright, let's continue.
Lots to talk about here. So, the concept of a clock enfolds all sessions in time. I think there's something very important here, at least to me. The idea of the clock never strikes the hour, save when the concept biddeth. So basically, the fact that something is called 6 o'clock is something that we created as humans to measure the passing of time. The fact that we call it 6 o'clock doesn't mean it's 6 o'clock. We needed the concept of time, so we made it 6 o'clock. We made 24 hours a day. One of my favorite Simpsons jokes is the trains are running on time, and metric time, and the clock reads 1 to 10, because the fact that we have 24 hours in a day and an hour is 60 minutes, that's all arbitrary, the way we just, for some reason, decided to make the scale. So the idea of there being a time where the clock chimes is something that we biddeth. This could also be interpreted as there is time on the island when we need there to be time on the island. And when we don't, there isn't. Which would explain away basically all of the problems I've had in the 80-some episodes of this series where I'm like, there's no time. There's no time, the sun doesn't move. There's no time, there's no time, there's no time. But there has to be time because water flows, and it takes time for the boat to move around. There is time when there needs to be time, when it is bidden that there is time. And there is not time where there shouldn't be time, where if the sun were to move as the day went on, the shadow puzzles would not work. The clock never strikes the hour unless it is bidden. That is a great way to interpret this in the concept of this game. So I'm going to hold on to that idea. What is also interesting is, of course, the conversation that happens between the two characters that we now have in The Witness. Now, I did a little bit of research. There are 4 voice actors. The wiki for The Witness kind of claims that the voice actors are split up into 4 categories. There's one for science, there's one for Eastern philosophy, there's one for Western philosophy, and there's one for Western religion. I would have to take the time to really sort things out. But what is kind of being established here is the one voice actor says, this is mine, that one was mine, which means that the sound clips are assigned to certain voice actors in the universe of The Witness. That there is a reason that certain people are saying certain quotes that are placed on the island. So it would be good research for us as a community to do, which is my way of saying, I don't want to do this right now, but it should be done, to see which sound clips relate to which voice actor and see if there's a common theme based on who is saying it. I also looked into who the voice actors are. I believe in this clip, the male voice you are hearing is Phil Lamar. Phil is the voice of Hermes from Futurama. He was also on Mad TV. I believe the female voice that you are hearing is Ashley Johnson, the voice of Ellie from The Last of Us. So there is quite some voice acting talent in this game that doesn't really need any voice acting until these very few moments here. And I want to take some time and really break down what's being said here. First off, him saying that one's mine is interesting because it is next to a mine cart. This is a very Blueprint way of thinking, and it seems to be a theme, so maybe I'll unlock some other things as I'm paying attention to this now that I have a new way of thinking, because this series took me 7 years. So the idea that this is mine next to a mine cart, there is relationships to the environment around the sound clips. It also plays into the fact that this sound clip does exist on the island. On the island, almost right above the spot I'm in, not quite, but close to it, is the spot I talked about earlier, where you have to move a reflective surface to re-angle the beam that hits it. The way you do that is with a puzzle that kind of looks like a clock. So you could make the connection that's like, oh, it's talking about a clock because we're next to a clock. I think that makes sense. I don't remember if I actually caught this sound clip in my Let's Play. I haven't gone back to look. But I always say that the windmill kind of reminds me of a clock. Like, it's the only thing that like ticks and stuff. It does go counterclockwise. Clockwise if you're inside. And you can see the windmill when you see that, or when you listen to the original quote. I think that's interesting. But it should be noted that when you find the quote without the extra banter at the end, it is Phil Lamar. It is Phil reading his quote.
The concept of a clock enfolds all succession in time. In the concept, the 6th hour is not earlier than the 7th or 8th, although the clock never strikes the hour, save when the concept biddeth. Nicholas of Cusa, 1450.
So I'm going to continue to call them Phil and Ashley. When Ashley records this so she can hear it in her own voice, the way that she wants to hear it, that doesn't make it into the game. But this conversation about recording it does make it into the game. It is also very interesting that Phil says, pretty soon you're going to want to listen to all, or you want to read all of Cruza's. Cruza does appear 4 times in the game. The other examples are, there's one about the idea of how God is unknowable, like to want to know God, but it's truly an unknowable task.
O Lord God, helper of those who seek you, I see you in the garden of paradise, and I do not know what I see, because I see nothing visible. I know this alone, that I know that I do not know what I see, and that I can never know. I do not know how to name you, because I do not know what you are. Should anyone tell me that you are named by this or that name, by the fact that one gives a name, I know that it is not your name. For the wall beyond which I see you is the limit of every mode of signification by names. Should anyone express any concept by which you could be conceived, I know that this concept is not a concept of you, for every concept finds its boundary at the wall of paradise. Should anyone express any likeness and say that you ought to be conceived according to it, I know in the same way that this is not a likeness of you. So too, if anyone, wishing to furnish the means by which you might be understood, should set forth an understanding of you, one is still far removed from you. For the highest wall separates you from all these, and secludes you from everything that can be said or thought, because you are absolute from all the things that can fall within any concept. Nicholas of Cusa, 1453.
That is a sound clip that is in the peninsula, which is near the Holy Grail illusion, which does seem to kind of bounce off each other. The idea of wanting to know something that is impossible to know, and knowing that is kind of like knowing God. When you have the optical illusion of someone reaching for the Holy Grail and unable to reach it, but the shadow holds it. So in a way you do, even though you don't. I just think that those kind of fold nicely into each other. The other one is a quote about visibility versus invisibility in the symmetry area. It's very similar to the knowable, unknowable, seeable, and unseeable. And the idea that these concepts kind of reflect each other. So the fact that they're in the symmetry area makes sense because they are related concepts. That one is read by Ashley.
Formerly, you appeared to me, O Lord, as invisible by every creature because you are a hidden, infinite God. Infinity, however, is incomprehensible by every means of comprehending. Later, you appeared to me as visible by all. For a thing exists only as you see it, and it would not actually exist unless it saw you. For your vision confers being, since your vision is your essence. Thus, my God, you are equally invisible and visible. As you are invisible, as the creature is, which exists only insofar as the creature sees you, you are visible. You, therefore, my invisible God, are seen by all, and in all sight you are seen by everyone who sees. You who are invisible, who are both absolute from everything visible and infinitely super-exalted, are seen in every visible thing and in every act of vision. Therefore, I must leap across this wall of invisible vision to where you are to be found. But this wall is both everything and nothing. For you, who confront as if you were both all things and nothing at all, dwell inside that high wall which no natural ability can scale by its own power. Nicholas of Cusa, 1453.
So, in this clip, when Phil says, soon you're going to want to read all of Nicholas Cruise's, she does. And she does record it. And as a matter of fact, one of them ends up in the game. It should be noted that Phil makes this joke where he says something like, I'll leave you to record, and thank you for this opportunity to introspect on my own adversive feelings. Perhaps the idea that Ashley is getting more lines in the game than Phil is, because Ashley's actively reading things that are Phil's quotes. So this is introducing the idea of a conflict between these characters in the game who are voicing the quotes, which is very interesting to think about. So we now have to, based on this, establish the fact that there are 4 people who go to the island through this experience that are trying to curate this experience, but have assigned roles and are kind of against each other and wanting to be the one that leaves more of a mark on the island. This could also introduce the idea of a 5th character, because who assigned the quotes? It could be a pyramid, but it could also just be that these 4 people work together and they split them up. That's just an idea that I wanted to also throw out there. But I think that this is a very interesting turn in the game. Because now, it's not about you walking around the island that someone has made for you, or that this simulation that has been created for you. There's now another layer of these 4 people have wants and desires and experiences and conflicts between them. So I think it's very important that we take the time. I'm again saying we, because I'm not going to do this right now, but if nobody else does, I'm going to. And we make the list of, like, what did everybody say? And we now also have to keep in mind that when Ashley reads the one in Symmetry Island, it should have been Phil. Lots to think about.
Where is this? Sounds like I'm near a laser. If I come out on top of this windmill right now, I'm gonna freak out. Yo! This is insanity. Oh God! Oh God, I hate this. There's multiple exits. 2. No. How could I do this? Because this is going to be 2. I come up this way. 2, 2, 2. Maybe it is. Maybe I do have to do this. Boom. Then come up. And then around. Like that. Okay. Well, I'd have to do this first. Yes. Yes. 1, 1, 1. 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. I can't. No, I can never go back and get a 3rd. Okay, hold on. 1, 1, 1, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 2. 1, 1. No. 1, 2. No. Yes, there it is. 1, 2. That allows me to do. No, because of that. No. Shit. 1, 2. No. Wait. 1, 1, 2, 2, 2. Nope. Early celebration. Why? 3, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2. Why? One, 2, 3. Yes. 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Oh, Okay, from the bottom. 1, 1, 1, 3, 2, 2, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2. No, back up. Bang. Now nope. Now we're golden. 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2.
This is a very interesting puzzle that I realized in the editing stage. This should seem kind of familiar to you. This puzzle being placed on a door and in solving it opens a door is something we have done before. There is a door that's kind of in a hill. I don't want to say mountain, but a hill by the beginning areas. It's one of the first, very difficult puzzles you see. And I think it's there kind of so you see it, and you learn that, one, there are puzzles hidden off the beaten path that lead to, surprises. And two, that you will come across puzzles that are unsolvable at this time. Because when you first approach the puzzle on the door, which hopefully I've put on screen, you do not know how to do black and whites. You don't know the rules of that. The area where you learn that is a few steps away, but this is the game teaching you, fail here, learn here, come back. So to see this formatted puzzle return, this pathing return with different symbols on it, I found a bit suspicious. Also, because when I looked back, the puzzles do have multiple solutions. So I was like, okay, what happens if I take this puzzle here that has this formatting and layer it on top of the original puzzle that I found that goes into the hill? If you don't know what I'm talking about, you go inside. There's one of the windmill video photocopies in there. And that's where the tree illusion is, where you look out the window and there's a tree with no leaves, but there's clouds around it that makes it look like a tree. That area. If you take these two puzzles and layer them on top of each other and try to obey all the rules of both puzzles, is it solvable? Maybe this is the true way to solve these puzzles. And the answer is no. It is not solvable. If you look at the upper right-hand corner, you will find that it is impossible to solve just that corner. To obey all the rules, you need to press the two hexagons that are in the very top upright corner area. You also have to split the blacks and the whites, but you also only can touch that square twice because of the triangle rule. There's no way to accomplish both touching all the buttons and separating blacks and whites without touching it 3 times. So these are 2 separate puzzles. You can't layer them on top of each other and create an ultimate solution. You can tell that I really thought that you could, and I was going to be like, wow, check this out, but no, it's impossible. It almost seems purposely impossible to solve both of these puzzles with the same line. And that's all I had to say. It was an awkward ending.
2. Oh, yes. Oh my god, this is where I am? Oh man, we spent a lot of...
I need to come back to this because I think I said this in a previous video, but this building bothers me. I really want to know what the purpose of this building is. Now, I know we're kind of really grasping onto the simulation theory that, everything here is just being designed for a simulation. But everything that is being designed in this simulation is meant to look like it serves a practical purpose. So what practical purpose could this weird building hold? I remember thinking at some point, and I get this vibe every time I see this building, that it's a gallows. Like, it looks like its only purpose is you go upstairs and then you're higher up. And if you look in this freeze frame, there is a trap door right here. So if you would like to hang somebody, you could hang them right there and drop that trap door, and then they would be no more. That's probably not what it is, but if you look at a lot of the design elements here, I think what this building is a sifter. So, if you think about the quarry, in the quarry area, there is a lot of white stone. I don't want to say that it's marble because I don't know if it's marble, but it's these white stones that are being used to create statues that are all over the island. So the idea is that they, in the quarry, mine or create these like stone bricks, okay? Based on what I'm seeing here, there's that chain, which means that something is being lifted up here. It's broken now, but a chain with a pulley was there. So something at some point was meant to lift things up to the top of this building. Then you have a weird slant. There's like a slanted bunch of boards that also have like openings at the end. And if you look at that slanted area, there's like stones on it. So I'm going to guess is when they are like carving the stones, whether it is into statues or into like blocks, it creates like a stone powder, right? The stuff that you're shaving off. You could sift that so that you would only get the finest powder. You get all the pebbles and stones out of it until it's just the fresh powder. I'm proposing that a container of that is brought to this building. It is lifted up and it is poured down this slanted area. And the finest powder falls into the minecart that is under there. Because if you remember, when we looked at that minecart, there was like a white powder that was sitting in the minecart. So, based off of the details around here, this appears to be some sort of sifting. You are pouring the stones into this. The larger stuff doesn't sink through those small cracks, but the finer powder makes its way through and falls down into the minecart. You also have that trap door there in case you need to open that up and see what's going on, talk to someone like, hold off, don't send any more down, we have to bring the cart back. Something like that. That all makes sense. That it also makes sense that there'd be a door there so you can, go in and out easily. That, though, brings the question up, and this is the big question of this episode. Why? Why would you need a stone powder underground? I don't know. So I did some research, and why would stone powder, which is what I keep calling it, why would that be valuable? Some of the things I found in my research is for farming, for like the health of soil to kind of make it more firm. It also manages like the pH balance of water, and specifically could get rid of like lime. And I was thinking that maybe because you're in like a dank cave, the idea of bringing a dry powder in would kind of maintain the area more. Because with the constant water flowing, it's going to be like damp, and it's going to get like erosion through the water. But if you can keep it kind of like freshly powdered and dry using this powder, this powdered rock, perhaps that would keep this area a little bit more stable. The big question, though, is, of course, the minecart can't get to wherever it was going to go before because there was some sort of cave-in there. I need to do more research on this this idea that maybe, in mining they would use this powder to, maintain things. But based on my, just simple, quick research, it's mostly for, agricultural reasons and for pH management. And also maintaining nitrogen is something that I saw. So do with that what you will.
Time here. There's a broken pulley. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Yeah, it's a secret tunnel that connects everything. It legitimately does. Well, not everything. They all seem to be around the town. Like nothing pops out in like the quarry or the tree house. Oh, I get it. It's do those rocks just like weirdly fall into being? Yeah, maybe I'm just crazy. Look like these rocks like magically showed up. There is an audio clip right there. And also, I feel like this. Oh, those are the impossible puzzles again. This is going to activate all the other stuff, and that's going to be a big, hard challenge. And it's time for me to go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to end my game staring at this audio clip. And next Wednesday we'll come back and we'll start with this audio clip, and then we'll do whatever the record player challenge is. But I have to go. My anniversary. I got anniversary stuff to do. But this is great. This is like super uncharted territory for me. And yeah, this is absolutely incredible. I'm so excited. I also want to say, this is just a small thing before we go. All the way up here, train tracks. All the training you've done leads you here to this final challenge. It's like a pun that I'm forcing.
And that's gonna do it. And just so you know, I hate me. Because when I cut the last episode, I was like, oh, okay, so we'll cut here. And then I'm pretty sure I start the trial. And I didn't. I didn't start the challenge. And I'm sorry that this is like the third episode that ends with me seeming like I'm about to start the challenge and then not starting the challenge. I'd like to promise that I would start the challenge next episode, but you know what? I haven't looked over the footage, so for all I know, I decide, I'm going to turn tail and leave, because I really want to reinvestigate the desert area. In any case, here are your takeaways for this episode. First, we have the underground map. This is what it looks like underground, and the fact that it follows the laser from the desert. Why is that? I find that very strange. It should also imply, and I think I forgot to say this in my cut-in, does that mean that all the lasers are above a tunnel? I know we don't have any evidence for that. Like, we've never accessed a tunnel that follows other lasers. But it could imply that that is the way that they are mapping out the underground tunnels, is using the lasers. Why is the laser like that? Why is the shape of the record room kind of look like a human heart? What are your thoughts there? Next is the audio file that has Phil Lamar and Ashley Johnson talking. We now have characters. I'm going to continue to call them Ashley and Phil. I never said this, but the other two voice actors are Matthew and Tara. We have 2 guys, 2 girls. We have 4 voice actors. What do you think their story is? And do you think that story is important? Because it's being set up right now that there is contention over who gets to read what. What do you think that means for the overall message of The Witness? And finally, what do you think this building is? Do you agree with my sifter idea? That we are pouring rocks into the roof of this building, they're sliding down, the powder is falling into the minecart, and the minecart is taking the powder to do something. What do you think about that? Let me know in the comments down below, and I will include it in the next episode of Solving the Witness. I know I said that we were going to take a week off so everyone had more chances to respond to stuff from the previous video, but I'm not going to make you wait 2 weeks for this video and not start the challenge and make you wait another week for that. So, I hope you guys have enjoyed this. Please let me know what you think below. Be sure to subscribe right here to Plus 2 Comedy Gaming. Catch up on all my past live streams. And also, you will get a notification next time I try to solve